Hello, Nigerians. There's a big issue that needs to identify. Identifying that peculiar problem will give us a leeway to know the best way to handle these prevailing challenges. We almost all time shifting blames of not representing the populists, or to the extent that we blame those at the helm of affairs. Those at the helm of affairs, in turn, against that's their level, against themselves. What do I mean? The issue of betrayal. Are they actually representing the people, or are they representing themselves? I have with me Engineer Abdurrahim Lawal, that we will both look at this issue and give our own perspective to either the issue of betrayal is something to actually be held for necessity, or something to be discarded so that the Nigerian can live up to expectations. I am Suleiman Haruna Osiku. Welcome to the program, which is Central Focus. Today, like I said, we'll be discussing political representation, which in extension, betrayal. Engineer Abdurrahim, what are your perspectives when we talk about this issue of betrayal among the political elites?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and discuss this very important topic. When you talk about betrayal in political cycle, is something that you cannot. It's something that exists. Why I say it's something that exists, and something that sometimes you cannot do away with, because politics is something of interest. It's a business, and there are people that invested heavily into it, either by their resources, which is capital, finance, or time and energy. That's various ways people do invest into politics, and as such, they expect something in return. Take for instance, the society, the way we operate in politics, or the way it matters. If I want to conduct election, for instance, people demand a lot. They are expecting me to bring something before the voting in. If I don't have such resources, I need to look for someone that can sponsor me or borrow from somewhere. Even if I'm going to borrow, anything that you borrow, there must interest. If someone that is going to sponsor me, there will be an agreement. And that agreement sometimes, if you don't follow it at the end of the day, it is what we call betrayal. So, as if we are operating in a kind of society that people don't just look at financial strength of an individual. If they look at intellectual capacity of an individual, I think the issue of betrayal is something that you can think that you can, how I put it, you can do away with. But this one, nobody, you are not answering to anybody at the end. Understand?
will Nigerians ever come to that level of understanding that this is the practice? Just like you said, that most of the politicians invested heavily during the election process. And then in return, nobody who has an investment who will not be awaiting of interest.
Of course, that is it.
Is Nigerians aware of the, especially the electorate, who at the other side complains bitterly of being neglected? Are they aware
Yeah.
or in the know?
They are aware, or sometimes some people are aware of it. There are some certain people they don't know what they are doing because of lack of education. Understand? Some elites are aware of it, but there are some people they don't have the idea. Okay, it's not some people want to contest election, for instance. What that is important to them is that 2,000 naira given to them at that election day. They have forgotten that 2,000 naira have buy their future. I don't know if something okay, you give somebody a mandate that you know that if that person go there, he's going to do something that you want. For instance, you vote somebody that okay, you know when you get there, that school that is behind you that is going to, I mean, it's like what we call it's not functioning again.
Okay. As expected.
Yes, it's very, you can bring it back. Or the road that reach your home, to your house, this very can.
It's not a beneficiary that giving you the 2,000.
Yes, or the health center that okay, there's no drug or there's no bed or whatever. This very can do something. If based on if your money is based on this trust, yeah, it's okay. But when you don't think that okay, that 2,000 naira or 5,000 naira is not important than all this, then you have no right to complain about somebody betraying you at the end of the day. Because that money he gave you that day, he got it from somewhere.
My colleagues, I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
This is Gampe Radio TV, where issues of national importance are being discussed. So like we said, the elites, the political elites, has taken a trick of investing heavily so that at the end of the day, they recuperate back their resources, which to a very large extent, the populists, which is the electorate, were not deeply aware of this. That is the reason why we want to some extent, enlightening our viewers and listeners at home, so that we get acquainted with this chemist, so that we know where to go, especially in this forthcoming election. And back to you. Now, just like I said, does that mean that the electorate were not fully or having the right education about election and voting?
Yes, many of us or many people do not have adequate what even representative is all about. Why you need people that you give your mandate to come and serve you. But many of us thought when these people are there, you cannot even ask them question. The issue of accountability is no longer there. Why is this? Because so much expectation, personal expectation from them. You know, most of this sovereignty, when people demand their own personal things. When, for instance, most of the time you call your chairman or rep, I want to do wedding, I want to do naming ceremony, I want to, and many people, thousands of people are calling them daily. Where do you expect these people to bring that money from? At the end of the day, those guys need to steal more so that can
satisfy
these people want. And that's what society needs. They forget the demand the right
because of the ignorance.
If you allow them to do their work without disturbing them, I think so we design politics in this our particular, let's say, African society as an interest-based things. You forget it's for the development of society. When you forget that, For instance, if they now tag you as a stingy person, if you don't want to do that,
Focusing on developing the
give them handouts instead of capital development. Understand? I don't want to mention name. There's one particular senator, for instance, from my constituency. This senator, we all know, her focus is to bring development. You know, many people are still complaining that okay, so much infrastructure is lacking from her because he's not ready to bring money to individuals. Even despite that, he still try her best.
in some way.
But people are still expecting more. Instead of all those capital things, development that is they prefer to bring down money to be shared. So then, if you are now talking about betrayal, you want electorate betray themselves.
That is serious. Engineer,
Yes.
in summary, what is your final advice, especially for this forthcoming elections?
My final advice is that people should stop looking at what's at immediate things. That 2,000 naira people give you during an election to buy your vote is not enough for you. You have sell your future. You have sell your integrity. What you need to do is that vote freely with your conscience so that you can demand what is your rights, what the right of society, development that the society needs.
That is a voting that devoid of finance.
Stop vote buying.
Okay.
We should discourage vote buying, individual and group politicians.
Thank you.
Because Chinese politicians should not bring money for electorate.
But the electorate too should not demand. Thank you very much.
Because something that you will give out money for, I don't know, it's just like you are buying. Once you have
that negotiation or that agreement has been set. So, like on the final note from my colleagues, it is like it would be better, especially from this time, for us to educate ourselves. If we demand much from the representative, they too in turn we take a huge 100-fold of what they have given to you. It is better do the right thing by casting your vote devoid of finances. Thank you very much. Until next time, when we'll be bringing you another beautiful episode. I remain your sincere Suleiman Haruna. Thank you so much and bye-bye.